Hey everybody, it's Adam from Tested, and you know how much I love costumes, and I love talking about costumes with my friends. And my friend, filmmaker Matt Castellano, has made a short film called Yoshua about an extraterrestrial named Yoshua. And the costume is here in my shop right now. Its maker, Patrick Glendening, is here to introduce us to this incredible creation. So you made the title character for Matt's film.
Yes, I did.
Talk to me about the original task. How did Matt talk to you about what he wanted this character to be like?
So originally I got an illustration from a mutual friend of ours, Regina Roy, and it was just an illustration of Joshua's head with sort of like a wispy like light on the top. And so I used that as a reference when I talked to him about the build, and we initially had to, decide how we were going to get this to translate on camera. Lights.
This is fiber optics that you've got?
Yeah, fiber optics. And it went through maybe 3 different phases of different ways of making it. We went through like some tubes with lights going through it. They're all LED strips. And a way for me to control it so that we could change the brightness. Because basically the only way Yoshua communicates is through these lights on his head.
Oh, so Joshua doesn't have a mouth per se, or that he uses to
He does,
talk.
but he doesn't speak English. He's more of
see.
like he has these sort of growls and things. So the majority of his emotion and communication comes through these wispy little whiskers.
Now I noticed that, is this green screen eyes?
Yeah.
And these are, I'm assuming, tracking dots, is that right?
Yeah.
So you guys replaced the eyes with CG?
Yeah, and I've seen a bit of that. He's still working on it, but it brought on a friend, Lincoln Smith, who's doing VFX. Basically what's happening here is it's an acrylic shell, and then painted on the inside is green, so they get a natural reflection.
Oh, nice, right.
And we put like mineral oil on it to get a natural wetness too, so all he has to do, well not all he has to do, but he goes in there and greens it out to be Joshua's actual eye. Talk
to me about the construction of this. So you started with a drawing, and then you started, this feels like additive foam, like you built this up out of open cell foam.
Yeah, so the majority of the costume's open cell foam. The head is all open cell foam on a bicycle helmet.
Okay, sure, yeah. So it's additive foam, you built it up out of open cell foam and then painted with latex?
Yeah, so the face and tusks have latex painted over it. The remainder of the head is still, it's open cell foam with wefts of hair. This is yak hair.
The same stuff that Chewie's made out of.
Yeah.
Chewie's yak hair.
But rather than sewn in, it's glued and sewn to the body in long wefts.
Well, weft, W-E-F-T?
Yes.
And that's a term of art. I didn't know that.
Well, yeah, I guess for wig making, it's commonly used, and for other like makeup effects. And so it comes in long strips, and in actual bundles. Came to me like this.
Oh, look at that.
Undyed. I dyed it with an acidic dye.
Oh, that's really cool. So this is a long strip, and you can then cut pieces of this strip. Wow, that is really neat. And the body is, how is the body built?
So the body is a military backpack frame that I then attached steel to make sort of an external collarbone.
Right.
That I attached all the muscle pieces to. So underneath all the fur is an insane amount of muscle definition.
Yeah.
A big thing to me, because Yoshua in a lot of the film is hidden. He's hiding under whether a blanket or behind something or in a vehicle. So when you do see him, you really see his silhouette and his shape.
Right,
so a huge thing to me was making sure his muscle definition was a prominent thing.
Oh, cool, yeah. Okay, so talk to me, now you've built the costume, it is clearly hot as balls in here. Who wore this and who performed this costume for the film?
Kim House wore this. She came from a dancing background, and she performs now live in a band. And
how did she find performing in the costume? It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, and I think she knew that going into it, but I don't think either of us knew how hot it was going to be, for one. Not only in the suit, but we were also shooting in above 100-degree weather inside of a very old van that had overheating issues.
Oh, no.
So she was a trooper. I mean, she got through it all incredibly gracefully.
Did you have cool shirts on her, or were you just giving her lots of ice packs?
But even then, it's the second you step into this, even if it's freezing outside, you start sweating. So.
Oh, I see that she can see out through here, these little slits at the bottom of the eyes.
So yeah, there's holes in the nose, around the eyes here, and under, and there's a little bit of visibility through the mouth.
How many
lot of
days
fur.
was the shoot?
The shoot was over the course of a week, so it was, I want to say 6 days total, with a couple pickup days.
How did the costumes survive the shoot? Because it's one thing to make it, another
Right.
thing to wear it. It's a third thing entirely to run it through the rigors of an actual film.
Well, yeah, big thing to Matt was that this thing would be durable because we had such a short shooting window.
Right.
We didn't
No
have
time for
duplicates.
repair.
Yeah, there's zero time for repair. So that went into sort of my process of the build.
Yeah.
Rather than we went through like forming some of these out of a mold and making straight up like latex hands, like they will used in like Wolfman and stuff like that.
Right. Her hands fit in these tiny little gloves.
Yeah, they did.
Wow.
They did.
I can only do that. Sorry, go ahead.
So rather than doing the latex mold, we did a foam mold with latex over it. So that way, I mean, there's scenes where she's getting dragged by military. There's a scene where she's hopping in and out of this van
Oh, so there's
all the time.
a lot of actual abuse on the costume.
Yeah, at certain points in the film. So like going into it, I knew like there has to be function and fashion. So that went into it heavily. The feet themselves, it's just.
Oh yeah. This feels
a
very
foam
familiar
bottom.
to feet that I've made for some of my
some of
furry
your bare feet and
costumes.
things.
I'm assuming that Kim learned a tremendous amount about movement in a totally different way. This is different than mask work. It's different than mime. It's different than dancing.
Yeah, definitely. I think there was a lot of that too between Matt, myself, and her, where we sort of tell her what it looks like from the outside because she doesn't know. She knows.
Because she doesn't know whether this works or this or whatever. How she
And
stands.
in her mind, she may be doing some huge movement where it translates to something more subtle. So
Right, you got to give her a whole different sense of her body and the extents of it.
yeah,
That's really
exactly,
cool.
Yeah.
Patrick, thank you so much for bringing this and showing us. I love costumes, but I also love that you built this basically from scratch, and it is now a character in Matt's movie. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me.
And ladies and gentlemen, that was Yoshua.